Is Samsung about to launch the thinnest foldable phone we've ever seen? Well, based on new renders of the Galaxy Z Fold 7 shared by OnLeaks and Android headlines, that might actually be true. Just by looking at the images, it's clear Samsung is going for a sleeker, thinner design this time around. For some context, last year's Galaxy Z Fold 6 was about 12.1 millimeters thick when folded and 5.6 millimeters when unfolded. Now, leaks suggest that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will be just 3.9 millimeters thin when unfolded, which is a huge 30% reduction in thickness. That's thinner than many tablets and even some smartphones, but thinner doesn't always mean better. Because as you slim down the body, some trade-offs show up like the camera bump. According to these renders, the triple camera system on the back now sticks out even more than before. This is similar to what we've seen from other foldable makers like OnePlus and Google, where a better camera setup comes with a more noticeable camera bump, but Samsung seems to be balancing that by also making the phone wider than before, possibly by over 10 millimeters compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 6. This added width could make typing, multitasking, and watching videos on the internal screen feel more natural. Speaking of the display, when unfolded, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is expected to offer a 7-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a resolution of 1856 by 2160 pixels and a refresh rate of 120 Hz on the outside. The cover screen will reportedly be 6.3 inches, also dynamic AMOLED, with a resolution of 968 by 2376 pixels and the same 120 Hz refresh rate. To protect the outer screen, Samsung may be using Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which helps prevent scratches and minor drops. Now let's talk about performance. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is expected to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy processor built using the 3nm process, which means better energy efficiency and faster speeds compared to older chips. Alongside this, the device may come with 12 GB of LPDDR5X random access memory and 256 GB of UFS 4.0 internal storage, giving users fast loading and smooth multitasking. It will likely run Android 15 right out of the box, offering the latest features and software optimizations. Powering all this will be a 4,400 mAh battery, with support for 25-watt wired charging and 15-watt wireless charging, which should be good enough for a full day of moderate to heavy use. Huawei just launched a foldable laptop with fans thinner than 2 coins. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what they've done with the new Huawei MateBook Fold, the world's first 18-inch foldable PC. Now, making a foldable screen is already impressive, but Huawei didn't stop there. One of the biggest problems with folding laptops is cooling. How do you stop them from overheating when the space inside is already tight? Well, Huawei came up with something very different, a special cooling setup that includes dual diamond aluminum fans and a 3D anti-gravity vapor chamber. Let's break it down. Richard Yu, the chairman of Huawei Consumer Business, gave everyone a closer look in a recent teardown video. He opened up the MateBook Fold and showed off the insides, from the battery to the screen to the cooling system. But the real star here is the cooling tech. Most laptops use basic fans, but Huawei decided to go with 2 custom fans made from diamond aluminum. Aluminum is already known for being light and great at moving heat away, and Huawei made these fans even more efficient by designing them to be super thin, just 3.5 millimeters together. That's thinner than stacking 2 coins. These fans create a powerful airflow without taking up much space, which is important in a folding device where every millimeter counts. And because they're made of diamond aluminum, they're not only light but also stronger and more resistant to damage over time. Now, let's talk about the 3D anti-gravity vapor chamber board. Sounds complex, but here's what it means. Inside most laptops, when things heat up, a special liquid flows through tiny pipes to help carry that heat away from the main components. But in a foldable PC like this one, that liquid can get stuck, depending on how you're holding or using the device. That's where Huawei's solution comes in. Their 3D anti-gravity design allows the liquid to move against gravity and return to the heat source no matter how the PC is positioned. So even if you're using the MateBook Fold while it's propped up, laid flat, or folded like a book, the cooling system still works the same. They even expanded the cooling pipes from 3 to 4 lanes to make the heat move faster and more efficiently. It's a small change with a big impact, helping the device stay cool without needing extra space or bulky parts. This shows how much thought went into solving a problem that most users might never even notice, but they'll definitely feel the difference when their laptop doesn't get hot after long hours of use. Huawei admitted that heat was a huge challenge during development, but clearly, they cracked it with these two upgrades, the diamond aluminum fans and the 3D anti-gravity vapor chamber. Have you ever wondered what happens when a phone maker pushes every boundary to create the most powerful smartphone they possibly can? That's exactly what Huawei just did with the launch of the Pura 80 Ultra, the most premium model in its new Pura 80 series lineup, and it's packed with features that are hard to ignore. Let's start with the most eye-catching part, the camera. The Pura 80 Ultra has 5 rear cameras. Yes, a full penta-camera setup that includes a 50 megapixels main sensor with optical image stabilization and a variable aperture ranging from f1.6 to f4.0, a 50 megapixel telephoto lens with advanced sensor shift stabilization, a 12.5 megapixel ultra telephoto lens for long-range zoom, a 40 megapixel ultra-wide camera for bigger shots, and a 1.5 megapixel multispectral camera to improve color and dynamic range. Thanks to something Huawei calls triple real-time fusion, the phone combines images from different lenses instantly to give you amazing detail, contrast, and color even in low light. For zoom fans, this phone offers 3.7x and 9.4x optical zoom, plus up to 100x digital zoom, making it possible to shoot anything from super close to extremely far without losing quality. Moving to the display, the Pura 80 Ultra comes with a 6.8-inch OLED screen that curves on all 4 sides, giving it a sleek, modern feel. It has a 120Hz adaptive refresh rate using low-temperature polycrystalline oxide technology to save battery. Full HD Plus resolution, a peak brightness of 3000 nits, support for high dynamic range vivid, and it shows over 1.07 billion colors. The screen is protected by Kunlun Glass 2, which is said to be 25 times more drop resistant and 16 times more scratch resistant than the previous version, making it more durable for everyday use. Inside the phone, there's a huge 5700 mAh battery, which means more time between charges. You also get 100-watt wired fast charging and 80-watt wireless charging, which are both incredibly fast, plus reverse charging that lets you power up other devices like earbuds or even another phone, wirelessly or through a cable. Another standout feature is satellite communication. Huawei added support for Tiantong satellite connection, so you can still send messages, share images, or even make calls when you're out of network range. Once it locks onto the satellite, the connection stays strong without having to keep adjusting your phone's position. This is especially helpful for people who travel off the grid or in emergencies.